What's up, big baller shot callers? Big Ken here. Joined by my co-host Monty Brown. Welcome from the Grid to the Rim Sports Talk Show. What's up, Monty?
Hey, what's going on? It's been a while since we done a show, man. What's
Yeah,
up?
man, it's been 3 or 4 weeks. I think our last show might have been the NFL draft or the first round of the NBA playoffs.
Right.
All right,
Back
ladies
in
and
the mix here.
gentlemen. Yep, all right, ladies and gentlemen, sports fans. Talk about a couple of things today. Talk about, NBA conference finals. We had two really good game ones. The Boston Pacers first game went to overtime. Pacers had a chance, but they lost it. And then, game one of the Western Conference Finals was really good also with, the Mavericks and Timberwolves. Ant-Man is doing his thing. One thing I noticed about these playoffs is a lot of the young players are playing really good, including
Yeah.
Ant-Man. Haliburton for the Pacers is playing really well. This seems like some of the young guys, you know, are showing out. It seems like Carl Anthony Towns has been playing forever, but he's only 30. But I think he played right out of high school, only 1 year in college. So it seems like he's been in the league forever, and he's only 30 years old. But he's been already been in the league for like 11 or 12 years. So
Yeah.
crazy, man. But yeah, we'll talk about Caitlin Clark, her start to the WNBA. I got bones to pick with some WNBA players, but let's. I guess we should get into that first, Monty, because yeah, my thing is,
All right.
we'll finish with the NBA Western Conference Finals and who we think will go to the NBA Finals. But let's get into some Caitlin Clark. So Caitlin Clark's debut game, wasn't the greatest. She had 20 points, which wasn't bad at all, but she was 5 out of 15 from the field. But the biggest downfall to her debut was she had 10 turnovers, the most in WNBA history for a debut game. So that part was bad. Um, Second game, she only had 9 points, was like 2 out of 8 from the field, so she didn't take many shots. That was her home. That was her first home game. The very first game was an away game. Third game, she played a lot better, 22 points. You know, had a good shot about 50% from the field, and the same thing for game four, which was her best game overall. She had 17 points, so it wasn't her highest point total, but her overall game was really good. She had like 17 points, several rebounds, like 6 or 7 assists, like a steal. I think the biggest thing knocking Caitlin Clark so far is just her turnover. She seems to have a turnover problem a little bit, and she gets into the officials. She needs to stop talking to the officials. A lot of people are talking about that. She's running her mouth a little bit too much. I mean, she has to learn how to calm down. I think even if it is a bad call, I don't know if it is or not because I haven't seen all of her games, but I know there's a lot of talk her jumping on officials, and she kind of did the same thing in the March Madness, the women's March Madness, and players would talk about that also. She kind of, and even her own dad said, "Hey, just play the game." Or even her own dad said, "Just be quiet and just play the game." Her dad was getting upset with her. She needs to. I really like Caitlin Clark, but she does need to tone down the whole official thing. What's your take on some things, Monty?
Uh, on this official thing, well, like you mentioned, she's been barking at the officials all through college, and I think that's something that's not going to stop. That's just her. I mean, she's not quite a superstar yet, so to speak, in the WNBA, and just like the men, superstars bark at the refs. She's not going to get the calls yet because she is a rookie. Yeah, sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it isn't because the officials tend to give superstars those calls and not other players. But no, since she's been doing that since college, and that's just her intensity, that's part of it. Yeah, as fans, we don't like it, but I think that's something we're I'm not saying I'm for it, but we're gonna see this as long as she's playing,
Yeah,
I'm sure. As far as her first four games, I texted you before. I kind of expected this. For one, just the luck of the draw or bad luck of the draw, if you want to say it that way. Look who she had to play the first four games. The second place and the third place team from last year. New York and Connecticut. I think New York was second. Connecticut was third. I know Las Vegas was first. I haven't played them yet. They had a winnable game yesterday against Seattle, which I think they should have won that game. But
Was
yeah,
that the
just
fourth game or the fifth game? Was there a fifth game I didn't know about, or was that the fourth?
yeah. They played their fifth game yesterday against
So what was
Seattle.
her points there? I forgot to write that down. I should look it
Uh,
up. Let me look
17
that
or
up real
19
quick.
sticks out of my head, but I do not
Yeah, that's
know.
interesting. I
Yeah,
only had
yeah,
4 games. Wow. Okay.
yeah,
So
yeah.
they lost
So
against, man, they lost 85-83 to the Stormy Wright. Clark had
yeah,
21 points,
okay,
7 assists, 7 rebounds.
yeah,
21 points against. She's had 3 20+ point games in 5 games, so it's not bad. Just the
yeah.
turnovers, like I said. Yeah,
Yeah.
she lost to
So
Seattle. That's very weird because Seattle's not the same team they were when they had their
yeah,
superstars because they're rebuilding. I can't believe they lost to Seattle.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
That was a winnable game there. Like I said, they stuck them with four tough games to start with. I know against Connecticut, they had that defensive stopper that just bugged her the whole time. And this is the WNBA. Women are a little bit smarter, faster, quicker, bigger, stronger.
Yeah.
And her shot's going to translate from college to pro. I mean, she's hitting logo threes already in the WNBA. We expect that. They're going to run offenses for her so she can get that shot off, but she'll be fine. She's going to struggle. I haven't seen her stats compared to the other rookies. I'm sure she's up top so far, but or close to the top at least. But she'll be fine. Uh, yeah, you're going to have the jealousy from the other WNBA players, but that's part of it. We saw something similar with Lonzo Ball when he went to the NBA, but that was mainly because of his dad.
His dad was running his mouth a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, but she's getting this because of us, you and me, ESPN, media. I mean, yeah, I mean, and a lot of it's well deserved because of her play. She's a great player. Something we haven't seen before in college. So after a while, it'll go away. I expect it to go away.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole jealousy thing, I get it to an extent, but I think it's a little bit too much. I hope it does go away, like you said. If it doesn't go away, I think the WNBA could be ruined. I'll say that right now. Because right now, whether the WNBA players are jealous of her or not, or white and black, or wherever this whole thing is about, you know, this is the most people have ever turned in the WNBA, and I hate to say it. Yes, there's other really good players besides Caitlin Clark, but the truth of the matter is, in my opinion, is the reason why they're tuned in is because of Caitlin Clark.
Right,
So these other
right.
WNBA players were there before, like they're all really good, but just no one watched as much. You know, Brianna Stewart is good. You know, Asia Wilson is good, and Sue Bird and all these
Yes,
other players. You know, but for whatever reason, Caitlin Clark just lit a spark with women's basketball in the past 2 years in college, and it's translated over to the WNBA. And I don't understand why they're jealous. To me, it helps them
it
because
does. It
they've
does.
gotten more views in the first 4 or 5 games of the year than they've had ever. I mean,
Right,
I forgot to write it down, but I looked up some stat like they've already had 2 or 3 games this year that already beat records for the most views for women's games in WNBA already. In the first 5 games, they've already had 2 or 3 records broken
right.
with Caitlin Clark games, and not just Caitlin Clark games, even some other games. There was another game where it was highly viewed, and it wasn't even about Caitlin Clark, but Caitlin Clark wasn't even playing that game. But Caitlin Clark has brought the hype to the WNBA, man. So
Right.
I think the WNBA players need to jump on board because they've been bitching and moaning for years about equal pay and equal this,
Yes.
equal that. You know, I'm not saying it's going to equal out. That will take still a long time, but they have a chance to make more money. I know that much
Right.
because if she's bringing in more money, bringing in more revenue, that means more money for them. That's like
Yes.
a no-brainer. I'm not an economist at all, but I know if they bring in more money, they're going to get more money.
Oh,
So,
yes. Yes.
so I don't understand their problem, man. Like, and the whole shoot. Let's bring up the shoot thing. Obviously, you can't believe everything you hear, but there's been some big talk about why Asia Wilson, reigning she's won multiple WNBA championships, and they're saying she just got a shoe, and Caitlin Clark has a shoe. She signed this big deal with Nike. We all know this.
Mhm.
I don't know what to think about that. Some people are trying to put white and black into it, saying white players are getting shoes and black women players aren't. Because
Oh,
Brianna Stewart has a shoe also. Now Caitlin
yeah.
Clark is getting one, so people are bringing race. Some, not all people, but some people are bringing race into it. So what do you think about this whole shoe thing, Monty?
Well, now that she's in the league, we're going to see more and more black, white, whatever you are, getting shoe deals
Yeah,
because of her. I mean, I'm sure that there's some women out there that do have shoe deals, but like you mentioned before, the WNBA is now on the map, so we're going to watch closely. We're paying more attention. I
right.
mean, I'm sure a lot of them do. We just never paid attention. Outside of the first couple of seasons when the WNBA started, not as many people are paying attention to it as before, and now most of us are. Look at us, we're talking about it. We have ESPN, we have Fox talking about it,
Yeah,
which we didn't see that before. So the money will come. You were talking about the pay. I know this commissioner is working at it. You mentioned before charter buses. That has nothing to do with Caitlin Clark. This commissioner's been working at that for years since she's been commissioner since I think 2019. And this just happens to be the year that they're getting charter flights now instead of buses. And this happens to be Caitlin Clark's first year, so they're thinking she has a lot to do with that. Which if she wasn't in the league this year, they would have had charter flights instead of buses.
yeah.
So
Yeah, Brianna Stewart's bitching about that, saying we had to ride a bus and Caitlin Clark gets flown out to a
no,
game and she's a rookie, yada yada yada.
no,
Yeah, but a lot of UConn women are just running their mouths, man.
yeah, that
That's
had
one thing I
nothing to do
noticed.
with
Like
Caitlin
UConn
Clark.
women aren't showing the good side of themselves. I had nothing against UConn fans.
Right,
They have an amazing program. We know they went on crazy run several years ago where they won, that is crazy winning streak, won multiple national championships, kind of like the UCLA men's team in the '60s, with John Wooden and
right.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Lou Alcindor back then. Uh, yeah, I was still a lot of UConn women run their miles. The only one that has shown some actually decent class is Sue Bird. Sue Bird has shown a lot of class, and she's talked well about Caitlin Clark. But a lot of UConn women just run their mouths. Brianna Stewart, especially
No.
Diana Taurasi. I don't mind Brianna Stewart too much. She's okay overall, but Taurasi is the one that drives me crazy. That woman's just got a nasty, nasty attitude, man. Nasty attitude. I don't
Yeah.
know what her problem is, man. Like she's really bitter and jealous, man. Like man, she's putting her foot in her mouth a lot. So bad news. Taurasi, you're a great player. You won multiple gold medals. I know you've helped out women's basketball. You're a pioneer, but your mouth is getting you in trouble, man. Um, but well, we'll hit the NBA up in a minute. But yeah, I just like Caitlin Clark. But there is other really good players. They have a really good rookie class this year. All the
Mhm.
rookies
Oh
seem to
yeah.
be doing well. You know, LSU player. Who are always talking about. I know her name. I just lost it.
Angel Reese.
Angel Reese. I lost
Yeah.
on my tongue. Thank you. Angel Reese is playing well. Cameron Brink is playing well. Camila Cardoso seemed to be playing well. But I heard she got hurt. I think she has a
Yeah. I think she's
shoulder.
injured.
She has a shoulder
Yeah.
injury. She's out for like a
Yeah.
month. So that's unfortunate for her. But her first like 2 or 3 games were decent. Playing alongside with Angel Reese in Chicago.
Yeah.
So they have a really good rookie class with WNBA players right now. They have a real strong class. So
Yeah.
yeah, women's basketball and WNBA should be fine, but I'm telling you, man, before we move on to the NBA, they're playing with fire. Like we said, they have a lot of views right now. They could bring in a lot of money. They have a chance to blow up in the good way,
Yes.
or they could self-destruct and blow up in the wrong way. I think it's going to be either or, man. I don't think there is any 50-50 on this whole thing. So I
Well,
think
it's up to them. They need to embrace this lady, understand what she's going to do for this league.
yeah, yep, absolutely. I just don't get it, man. But we've been beating that drum for a while, but it kind of drives me crazy. But let's talk about game one of the Eastern Conference Finals. Celtics win in overtime 133 to 128 against the Pacers. Man, great first game. How about the Indiana Pacers? No one thought they were going to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. They're probably the surprise team in this whole entire thing. But Pacers, Haliburton, 25 points.
Yeah.
Siakam, 24 points. Miles Turner, 23 points.
Yes.
Naismith, the guard from the Zags, Gonzaga, everyone knows him out here. He's a rookie, 14, but either rookie or a second year player. Pretty young though, 14 points. I'm sorry, Nemhard. Nemhard is the Gonzaga player, 12 points. Naismith, 14 points. All five starters for the Pacers were in double digits, and their bench played really well. TJ McConnell, who's just a beast. Man, he's like Mighty Mouse. He's small, but man, he gets
Yes.
after it. He had 13 points off the bench, and Toppin had 15 points off the bench, and the Pacers bench had 30 points overall. Their bench played really well. Celtics, Jason Tatum led the way, 36 points. Jaylen Brown, his partner crime, had 26.
Mm.
The old Al Horford, still in the league, had 15 points. That was a huge game. That was way above his average. He showed out in game one. Drew Holiday, 28 points. White, who's had a really good playoff run. He's been on fire these playoffs. He had 15 points, and Pritchard was their leading scorer off the bench with 8. Yeah, Celtics bench got outscored double. Like I think Celtics bench only had like 14 or 15 points, and the Pacers bench had 30. So the Pacers bench outplayed their bench, but Celtics stars just did like a little bit better, and that's why they won game one. You said Pacers had their chances and they blew it. Yeah, I agree with you, Monty.
Yeah. One advantage that the Pacers have against Boston is they're deeper. And that's the key if they want to win this conference, if they want to win this Eastern Conference final. I don't see them winning it. I mean, as a Laker fan, I can't stand Boston, but I'm talking as objective here.
Yeah.
Starters they're 5-on-5. Boston's much better, but Indiana's the deeper team, and they're going to have to just use that to their advantage. Indiana had 22 turnovers in that first game. That killed them.
Yeah, that
That
would kill
one
you in
at
a
the
close
most
game.
inopportune time where Haliburton, I guess it bounced off his knee or he lost control or something like that. I'm not sure. They had a 3-point lead with 5 seconds left, and Jaylen Brown hit that three to get them back in to tie it, and that was pretty much the end of it. So
yeah,
in order for them to win this, they need to get their offensive rebounds. Indiana had 22 turnovers. They got to take care of the ball as well.
that's a killer in a close game, man.
Yeah.
That's a dagger.
So I'm kind of off and on watching this game here. They had their chances. I think they blew their chances that first game.
They like lost a little bit of wind out ourselves probably in game one. There's a good chance they're gonna go down 2-0. Yeah, it's not over yet, but you're right.
Yeah.
They had their chances in game one to really make this a series. I mean, it's still not over. They could go back home and win game 3 and 4, but they have to. Yeah, they're down by 15 points with a little under 9 minutes to go. I mean, it's not over, but it's 99-84 right now with 8:40 to go in game 2. I mean, it's not over, like I said, but it's looking pretty bleak. But yeah, their chances are slim though. They have no room for error the last 8.5 minutes of the game.
Well, they picked up Pascal Siakam I believe in January for situations like this. He's a winner. He won a championship with Chicago.
Yeah, or Toronto. Siakam, right?
I say Chicago, Toronto.
Yeah.
And he's on this team for a situation like this. This is a young team.
Yeah, I mean, very young.
This veteran who's seen this before. So they're going to have to get on his back, and he's going to have to lead these guys. This is a real good, talented defensive team.
They're very good defensively, yeah.
Yeah.
So is Minnesota, the next matchup. Minnesota's very good defensively.
These might be the best defensive teams left, these 4.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, if you look at it. So, yeah, they're probably going to lose this game here, but go back to Indiana. Let's take care of the ball. Let's rebound, and let's see if they can tie this thing up. I have Boston winning in 6, but I'd love to see Indiana make a series out of it.
Yeah, yeah, Indiana's chances they have to win game 3 and 4. Man, they should have won game 1, like we already said. Then they could
Yeah.
definitely make this a 6 or 7 game series. This will either go 5 or 6. I got Boston win it probably in 5. I want to say 6,
Hmm.
but I'm gonna go with 5.
Gentlemen sweep. Yeah.
Yeah, I think not a sweep, but Indiana will get 1 game at home, but and
Gentlemen.
a
Yeah.
lot
Gentlemen
of
sweep.
pressure is gonna be on Indiana in game 3, man. Um, So yeah, Indiana has to win game 3. If Indiana wins game 3, then this could go 6 games. Maybe if they
Yeah.
lose game 3, it's either only to go 4 or 5 games. They have to win game 3, man.
Yeah.
But you're right. There's Boston starters are better than the Pacers starters. Their talent is their bench, and Siakam, like
Yes.
I said, the one veteran player that they do have that came over from Toronto. Yeah, turnovers kill you, man. Like I said, but Celtics just have an advantage because they're experienced, man.
Yes. They're
Very
young and
experienced.
experienced. That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, they're young and
Outside of
experienced.
Horford, I mean, they're a young team.
They're young except for Horford. Horford's like dang near 40, man.
Yeah.
He's still playing.
Yeah,
He's
he's the only
getting
guy. Yeah, he's the only guy I like on the team. Jeez.
yeah, I agree. I kind of like Tatum, but yeah,
Yeah.
Horford's kind of my guy too, man. The old
Yeah.
man. But yeah, everyone in Boston. I told you this last year. My good friend who passed away this year from Boston a couple months ago. He said Tatum needs to toughen up mentally. I think some other Boston fans think that they know the talent is there for Tatum, but they don't.
Yeah.
They think he's soft. So these are Bostonians saying this, not guys like me that aren't from Boston. So Boston has a certain edge. If you don't got that edge, they think you're weak, man. So yeah, I like Tatum's talent is there though. I think they shoot way too many freaking threes though. They drive me crazy with how many
Yeah.
threes they shoot. I mean, I don't mind a good 3-point shot, but they settle, in my opinion, way too
Yeah.
much. It hurt them last year in the playoffs while they lost to Miami because they're settling for threes. It's
Oh,
not
that
hurting them
killed him.
this year so
Yeah.
far, but I think they shoot way too many though. Way. They shoot like 10 or 15 more than most other teams shoot.
Yeah.
They're crazy, man. It drives me nuts. But yeah, I got Boston winning it. They got the experience. But can Boston win the championship? That's the thing. They've been in the championship before a
Mhm.
couple years and they lost to, the Golden State Warriors, the Splash Brothers. So
Yes.
let's talk about Western Conference Finals. Yesterday's game 1 did not disappoint either. Like I said, 2 very close game ones.
Hmm.
Mavericks win 108, 105. They come back from behind. The game was really tight throughout. I know it seemed like the Timberwolves had the lead most of the game, but the Mavericks were always right there the whole entire game, and they took it in the end. And the Luka Doncic and Kyrie
Hmm.
duo, they balled out. Luka Doncic had 33 points, 8 assists, and Kyrie Irving had 30 points and 4 assists. So between the two of them, they had 63 points. So they played well, man. A lot of people are talking trash about Kyrie Irving, saying he's a bad player, bad teammate, bad this and that, but I don't think he is. I think last year was disappointing for Dallas, but this year they're doing their thing,
Yeah.
man. Right back there. What do you got on this series, man?
Oh, Kyrie's a little. He's strange, but I don't think he's a bad teammate. He's a little weird, but nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, you need weird
Most weird
guys.
people are good at what
You
they
need
do.
funny guys like him to say strange things. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
we all know guys like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Most weird people are good at what they do, and he's one of the better point guards I've seen since Isaiah Thomas as far as a ball handler. So yeah, might be even better.
Yeah,
So yeah, he's fine. Um, I like this series. I like this matchup. I have it going 7. I have Minnesota winning it in 7. I like this Minnesota team a lot. I know.
yeah, I like him. Ant Man. When you talk about him, we can't forget
Yeah.
about talk about him on the
Oh
Minnesota
man,
side here in a minute.
we have the Jordan comparisons, but we're not going to get into that.
Yeah,
We'll be here all day with that. But
yeah. They're already starting to do that, man. I know.
yeah, no, don't do that to that kid. No, not yet. Come on now, stop it. But whoever these people are doing that, but no. Um, he said they were a little tired yesterday. I know they had a tough tough series against Denver. He didn't have one of his better games
Yeah,
at Game 7 game. He didn't have a very good game yesterday either. Uh,
yeah, he was off a little bit. He was going crazy
yeah,
the first round and early in the
yeah,
second round. Yeah, he's been a little bit sluggish the last couple of
yeah.
games, but he
And
took
we
key
might,
shots and played really good defense. It seems like he does the right
yeah.
thing at the right time. Yeah,
And if he's chasing Kyrie Irving around, if he's going to do that the whole series, that might take away from his offense. I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know.
Kyrie's a
That's why we
hard
don't
matchup.
see right. We don't see superstars guard each other that much. I
Yeah,
know that Game 7 game, he mentioned that he wanted to guard Kyrie
he
Irving.
did say that, and Kyrie welcomed it. Kyrie liked it actually. He said that
Yeah,
he liked Ant Man's comments. He's like,
yeah,
that's why we like Ant Man because
yeah,
he's not afraid of a challenge. Yeah, Kyrie
yeah.
respected that. Yeah,
Yeah, the key to me for this series for Minnesota, with my heart, I'm going for Minnesota, and I'm picking them to win it in 7. You mentioned him, Cat, Karl Anthony Towns. He's a big man, can shoot threes, very versatile. If he plays in the middle, there's nobody on Dallas that can guard him. Get in the middle and
maybe Lively
get your
off the
point.
bench.
Maybe. Yeah. 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 Maybe. We got Gobert playing center defense. This is probably the best defensive team left in the playoffs. I mean,
Yeah, he's a
all the
defensive
four we
player.
talked about,
He's a
this may be
defensive
the
player of the
best.
year. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know about that. He is good
So
at defense. I don't know about defensive player of the year, but he is good.
yeah, but I think Cat's a big key. I think the sixth man of the year is key. What's his name? Nas. I can't think of his last name. But
Yeah,
yeah, this team's pretty deep. They should have won this first game, but I do expect it to go 7.
I agree. I expected to go 7 too. I'm with you on that. I'll say who I think is going to win it, but yeah, I agree with you. This is going to be the longer series out of the two
Yeah,
conference finals. I agree. Yeah, Ant Man only had 19 points, but he did have 11 rebounds, which was the most out of anyone on the team. So he had a double double, but he was pretty quiet.
yeah,
Most of his points came in the first half. He had 13 points at halftime and only 6 points in the second half. So he definitely got tired, probably chasing Kyrie around the end of the game. His offense wasn't clicking,
yeah,
second half. McDaniels was the leading scorer for Timberwolves in game 1. He had 24 points. Rudy Gobert had 12 points. The defensive player of the year. I don't know about that. Definitely really good defensively. I don't know about DPOY though, but it is what it is. Like you said, Karl Anthony Towns 16 points. It seems like he's been around forever, but yet he's only
yeah,
30 years old. But he's been in the league for like 11, 12 years because he came out of college after 1 year. He played what 1 year at Kentucky or something like
yeah,
that.
something like that. And he's been injured a lot too, so that it hasn't seemed like he's played that much.
Yeah. But their bench played well off also. That might be
Yes.
another key in this series. Reed came off the bench with 15 points and
Nas Reed. Yes.
Nas Reed, and then Kyle Anderson came off the bench. Yeah, Reed was the sixth man of the year. Then Kyle Anderson had 11 points himself, so they had around 30 points off their bench, also just like the other team I mentioned for the Eastern side, Indiana. So
Yeah.
yeah, bench play, might be a thing. Some other players for Dallas that played good besides Kyrie and Luka. PJ Washington had 13 points.
Mhm.
He's also having a really good playoffs. Gafford had 10 points, and Lively, their big man off the bench, had 9 points and 11 rebounds. So Lively is also really come on strong for Dallas in the playoffs. Who do I have win this series? You say Minnesota.
Yeah.
Um, I would like to see Minnesota win, but I'm gonna go opposite of you. I'm gonna say the Mavericks, um, but I won't be surprised if Minnesota wins this because they do have a
Mhm.
deeper bench. Um, but it's just how well Kyrie and Luka could play as a.
Yeah.
We know Kyrie and Luka are gonna do their thing. It's all about who
Yes.
else can pitch in with the Dallas Mavericks. But Timberwolves are very nasty defensively,
Mhm.
but I'm just gonna go. I won't say experience because Luka and Kyrie Irving has experience in the playoffs.
Yes.
Luka has a little bit, but Timberwolves are very, very young in the playoffs. I think they're
Right.
just a little bit younger. I won't say Dallas has a whole lot of experience in playoffs except for Kyrie Irving. Luka kind of has a little bit. but Kyrie's the main guy winning rings with, LeBron James, in Cleveland. So I'll stick with my guns. I'm gonna say Dallas. I'll go
Yeah.
opposite with you, but I won't be mad if Minnesota wins because I really like this Ant-Man.
Yes.
His story for the NBA is crazy. There's a lot of personal things about him where he's overcome a lot. Also, both his grandmother and his mother both died of cancer. I think in the same year when he was 14 years old. I was watching a show on this. Um, so he had two, he had two women in his life. His grandma and his mom passed away at 14 years old. His older siblings kind of took him in and raised him the rest of the way through high school. He had offers to all kinds of colleges. He could have went to any blue blood program in the country. He was a high school McDonald's All-American, man. He could have went anywhere. He could have went to Duke, North Carolina, Kansas, you freaking name it. But he goes to Georgia, where he's from, because he wanted to stay close to home because of his family. Because
About that. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So he made a personal choice. I respect his choice. He didn't go to a big time powerhouse school. We all know Georgia is a powerhouse in football with the SEC, but Georgia isn't really known for their basketball. But I respect him for staying home.
Mm-hmm.
He also said he had a nephew or niece that he's very close to that's like 2 or 3 years old, like toddler age, and he wants to be close to family. So yeah, he seems like a good young man. So he has a kind of a cool, almost, it's not a cool story, but it's a very interesting story.
Yes.
Man's overcome a lot, So yeah, I'm kind of rooting for him. He's one thing I like about him, he's confident, but he's not arrogant. There's a certain demeanor about him that I absolutely love. Not arrogant, but he doesn't shy away from the confidence either. But he's not arrogant. I can't explain it. Like, yeah, I just like how he rolls. He always respects other players, but he's not. But like, it's like what Kyrie Irving said. He was ready to take on the challenge against Kyrie Irving, but he didn't disrespect Kyrie Irving. He said Irving's one of the best guards in the league. I'm looking forward to the challenge, but he also believes in himself and thinks he can, get the job done. Like, there's a certain aura about him that I just like, and that's kind of why, I'm rooting for him too. And I like his nickname, Ant-Man. I guess someone in his family, I think his mom or dad gave him that nickname when he was a little guy, and it stuck with him. So yeah, that's cool, man. So I like it. You got anything else on the Western Conference Finals, Monty?
This is mainly overall NBA. I'm going to echo what I heard someone talk about a couple weeks ago. We're witnessing and quickly, a passing of the torch. There's no LeBron, Kevin Durant, no Steph, no Giannis. We're seeing a passing of the torch to these young men. You just talked about that, man. We got Luka.
Haliburton's playing well. Yeah.
Haliburton. Overall, smaller markets. We have Indiana. We might see an Indiana Minnesota final.
That would be insane. I would absolutely love it, though.
Wow.
Yeah, smaller market final. Yeah, that would be so good I would love it. Some people might think it'd be bad for the NBA, but I think it'd be great.
Yeah. We just saw Denver win it last year. So
yeah.
Well, passing of the torch, like I talked about, we got Jokic, Murray. Have we seen that? I mean, quick. It seemed, wow. Curry was just dominating a couple of years ago. Now we have these.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Curry and Clay came back a couple of years ago and beat Boston. You're right. It seemed like they came back and then but they're gone. They're out again. Yeah, you're right. There's a passing of the torch going on. Yeah.
Yeah, we have the young man in San Antonio. So man, I mean it's crazy. It's talented. The NBA.
I like that French player. He played well his first year. He played pretty good. I know his name. It's on the tip of my tongue. Everyone knows his name, but I'm just losing my train of thought.
Well, Wemby, but
Wembanyama, yeah. Victor Wembanyama, Wemby, yeah. He played well this year, man. He had all kinds of crazy highlights.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. Then go ahead, man. Sorry.
Yeah, and I know the NBA's had its problems with people watching and the ratings are down. So hopefully these new players will bring it up these next couple of years.
Yeah, I think they will. I agree with you. The passing torch is there. I think the NBA is getting exciting again. I
Yeah.
like the passing the torch. I like new blood. I don't like the same old thing. That's why I can't stand. I hate Alabama and college football. I'm like, screw those guys. Sorry, Brad, but yeah, I get tired of those guys. So I'm all about the new blood. Yeah, I think it makes the game better because it's not the
Yeah.
same old. It gets it more interesting if these young guys can challenge LeBron
Hmm.
James, challenge Steph Curry, challenge Kevin Durant. Before we close, but KD and Booker and Phoenix. I know we mentioned this in our round one show like 3 weeks ago, our first round show, but they've been disappointing, man. Phoenix
Yeah.
has absolutely been disappointing, man. So
Yeah.
yeah, but I like these young guys kind of doing their thing, man. So let me check something real quick to see if the game is going on before we close. Let's go log into my phone here. So hold on, viewers. Uh, see what the score is before we close. All right, it's 115, 102 with
Hmm.
118, 102 with 255. They just hit a three. So yeah, Boston's got this.
Yeah.
If they come back from 16 points down with 2 minutes and 50 seconds to go, that'd be insane. It's never
Yeah.
impossible, but I highly doubt that. So yes, Indiana's gonna be down two games to zero, like we said earlier, and they absolutely have to win game
Yeah.
three to have a chance in the series. So we will see. But whether Indiana Pacers make this a good series or not, I think they're a very good young talented team. They're going to be around for a while.
Yes.
Hopefully Dallas will be around. Minnesota should be around, like I said, passing to the guard. Minnesota, Indiana, these teams should be around for a while. New York has been
Yes.
good. New York has been good in back-to-back years. They went to game 7 against Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
And they
A
lost.
good young team.
They're a
Yeah.
good young team. Also, what's his name over their guard? I saw him play against Portland this year.
Yeah.
He's going. He had I don't know how many 40-point games. The New York guard had. I mean, he just went. Jalen Brunson. He just went
Brunson.
crazy in the playoffs.
Villanova.
But they had no Julius Randle, and they still made it to Game 7 in the
Yes.
second round. So that's interesting with New York. They seem to have a good young team, also. So I think it's all about the young teams right now, like you said, man. So and I like it. I absolutely
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
All right, man. So in closing, I'll say, hey, who do you guys got? Well, let's say one thing, Monty. Before we close, I almost forgot this. Who do you think the matchups in the finals would be, and who do you have win the? Who do you think will win the finals before we get to our final show? Just make it early. Put you on the spot here. Make an early prediction, and I'll follow
Make it
up.
to the finals or win the championship.
Both,
Oh,
or just want to answer the finals question. We can wait to the who will win the championship
yeah.
later.
I'm going with Minnesota and Boston.
Minnesota and Boston.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I got Dallas versus Boston,
Yeah.
but
Both good
man, if
matchups.
Minnesota does like if I would like to see Ant-Man go up against Tatum and Jalen Brown.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be a
Good
fun
matchup.
matchup. I'll stick with my predictions earlier. What I said earlier in the show, 10, 15 minutes ago, saying Dallas would squeak this out in in 7 games. So,
Yes.
all right. So you got Boston and Minnesota, and I got Boston and Dallas. I guess we'll get to who we think will win the finals once we get to that point for our
Yeah.
NBA Finals show. But that's it in closing, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Who you guys have win the finals? What do you think about Kate and Clark? You know what? Whether you like her or not, like I'm okay with people not liking her. I just don't like the hatred.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm getting kind of tired of in the jealousy. But if you let me know whether you like her or not, what you think about the WNBA, are they in good shape or not? Who you have win the finals, so on and so forth. If you have any ideas for this show, let us know. We're all about ideas, trying to make the show better. So if you want us to bring something up on the show, just let us know, man. At least some comments. All right. What do you got, Monty?
Hey, yeah, you said it all, man. Appreciate the support. Leave your comments, suggestions, good or bad. We want to know. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, they all ought to be good, man. We're all about constructive criticism. So
Yeah.
let us know, man. But thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And we'll be back probably in a week for the NBA Finals show. Peace.
All right. See y'all.